What's good, everyone? Today we are going to be making a lead magnet funnel strategy for Davie Fogarty and the Daily Mentor. The reason that I wanted to do this was because he obviously has a big coaching program for e-commerce brands, and I think this will apply to a lot of you, whether you're a coach, agency, info product. It doesn't really matter what you sell. Lead magnets are typically quite an effective strategy, and I wanted to run you through just some of the thinking that I would use when running basically this funnel where you're running an ad to an opt-in page, giving away something for free, some sort of free resource, and then essentially pushing them towards some sort of sales call. So we're going to get into it. Should be pretty value packed, hopefully, and we'll go from there. Just for some context, so I've seen the Daily Mentor running ads directly to essentially what is an application page or a checkout page. Now, this is great because it's very direct and it doesn't waste time. However, particularly with e-commerce brands, there are a ton of people that are just slightly outside their conversion window. So what do I mean by that? When you're running ads directly to a checkout page, you're basically only appealing to people that are looking to buy or that have a problem directly right now. Now, again, that works really, really well because that attracts really qualified leads. But using a lead magnet strategy, essentially what you can do is accelerate the time period by when someone even knows they have a problem, and you can also accelerate the time period by which someone trusts you enough to buy. So what you do is you give away something for free and accelerate that customer journey and then reach out to them with appointment setters, emails, and retargeting ads. And what that means is it's great for top of funnel and nurturing leads towards buying because you can catch them. You can essentially generate the lead much, much earlier in the buying journey than if you were to do so via a direct conversion funnel. And therefore, like I said, you can accelerate that. So if you can get someone way before the time when they're basically ready to buy, you can condense that time period from essentially what would be months, like 3 to 6 months, to maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, and it works crazy, crazy good. So as an example, just to know this isn't complete bullshit, this is a literal ad account from one of my clients. You can see here driving a pretty varied ROAS, but from these campaigns as a whole, we spent about 17 grand over here and generated just under, depending on first click or last click attribution, around $70,000 in revenue, which isn't tremendous scale, but at the end of the day, it's just good proof of concept to have in there. Now, here's why it works. So like I said, you can sell the core offer to whoever you want. The qualified brands that come through, if they come through via a lead magnet, they will end up being able to be converted because you're going to reach out to them. You're going to get them on your email list. You're going to reach out to them with calls, texts, SMS, whatever. You can retarget them with your direct offer application funnel, etc. And for the brands that aren't qualified, or for the people that are beginners that basically just want to download this lead magnet because it's Davie Fogarty, he's famous, tons of people, tons of awareness. Basically what you can do is you can liquidate that spend through things like Shopify affiliates, through digital products, through lower ticket offers if you want to. Now I know Davie is going kind of more of a route where he doesn't sell courses, etc. So it's likely that you can liquidate a lot of that spend by sending the unqualified brands to his free course, which is basically like a nurturing mechanism for the higher ticket thing. And that is going to work a treat because it's going to build a massive email list and enhance the brand by giving away free stuff. So I know a big problem when you have a big brand, you don't want to be always constantly seen as just selling. You want to be giving away free stuff. And as I mentioned earlier, that is going to accelerate the sales cycle because you can generate the lead so freaking early in their buying journey. Like you can get someone before they even have a store, put them through a free lead magnet, send them towards the free course, and then just nurture them all the way along. And that might condense their buyer's cycle from potentially never, if they never built a store, to maybe 2 years down the line, they have $1 million brand, and then they're going to go through the higher ticket program. So that is why the lead magnet strategy is so potent, because it basically, like I said, allows you to get that lead so fucking early that it's so valuable, and you basically get control over that buying process rather than kind of just having content out there and then just expecting people to go and watch it, which always does work, but like I said, you can condense that time. And again, massive coaching programs like Gym Launch have been built on the back of lead magnets. And a big reason why is because of what I'm talking about, where you're casting this massive net. The free lead magnet appeals to such a massive portion of the market, a massive market segment, compared to the direct offer. When you do direct offer, maybe 1 to 3% of the market's going to be interested. But when you do that massive wide net, you bring them in and then you nurture them with the rest of the funnel. Now, some people look at this diagram and they completely freak out. But this is what a full marketing funnel should look like, where you have your paid ads, you have content, you have outreach, probably less applicable to coaching programs. And then you also have your partnerships, your affiliate, your JV, whatever. Now, in Davie's case, he's already doing content, he's already doing paid ads, he's already got the direct to checkout funnel. But given the lead magnets, given those extra sales assets and those extra nurturing mechanisms, as well as the email flows, as well as the appointment setters I'm sure he's got running on his account, as well as the newsletter, as well as all these different assets he has, it's basically just going to give people an additional opportunity to interact with his brand on a deeper level than just on YouTube, or on a deeper level than just on whatever platform they're watching his content on. And as you can imagine, like, if you speak to people that are actually customers of this type of offering, like e-commerce store owners, a lot of times they're not that aware of what's going on YouTube. They're not that aware of all this stuff that's going on in content land because they're busy running their business. But if you hit them with a really, really good ad, if you get them on an email list, if you get them starting to go through some of the more in-depth resources, all of a sudden the intimacy that they gain is insane, and it has a massive impact on whether they're actually likely to purchase from you. Because again, there's certain people, there's certain types of individuals that will go through and watch a bunch of YouTube, and then there's certain types of individuals that don't watch any YouTube that will go ahead and basically just spend all their time working on their business, and maybe you can potentially hit them with an ad that will get them to download a lead magnet, and then boom, they're in your ecosystem. And the biggest thing here is there's a massive delineation between people that consume your free content and then people that consume gated products. So you have free content, gated products, and paid products. A gated product is essentially something where they have to trade their email address. That level of intimacy gives you that little foot in the door. Now, boom, we can start selling to them and basically giving them value until they realize, holy shit, there's so much that I don't know about running an e-commerce store. Let me join into the main program. Now, this is going to include a landing page and 10 ad creatives to test. Basically, if you record the ads and get them edited, you can launch this. As mentioned previously, my clients absolutely crush with this strategy for lead magnets. Lead costs of $1 to $8, booking very cheap qualified calls, and driving a pretty consistent and stable ROAS. Also, the thing you need to know is that this supplements the direct to application strategy really, really well, because a lot of people might have seen your ads about your book a call funnel, whether you have something that's direct to checkout. Lots of people see those ads, and then there's people that don't convert from those ads. So when you offer them something free, they might go ahead and download that free thing, go through it, get some value, then see your direct to application ads again, and then convert. And this is something that we've seen pretty consistently, particularly with e-commerce brands. And we actually track this in Hyros, where before booking a call, they're going to click through 5 different lead magnets or 3 different lead magnets, download them, read them, stay on your email list for 6 months, and then eventually, boom, they see that direct to application ad, and they've just been nurtured so much and they've been hit so much that eventually they check out, and it works really damn well. And if you don't have that visibility, because maybe the funnel right now is just someone watching 50 YouTube videos in a row and then buying, if you don't have that visibility on all those touch points that are required to actually get someone to convert, you never really realize that that's what's happening. But when you track it and you start to get visibility, you're like, holy shit, people watch so much stuff before they eventually convert. That's when you start to think, okay, if I'm going to reverse engineer that process of people watching 50 YouTube videos, but I want to replicate that process via paid traffic and not just YouTube, then I need to use lead magnets, because I know people are going to click through my shit. People are going to go on my email list for 6 months, and people are going to eventually see my ad that has a 5x ROAS, my direct to application ad, and convert. But really it's because of all the work that was done before. So when you scale, and when you want to scale beyond what's being achieved by organic content, that is when you need this type of strategy. So for the Daily Mentor specifically, here's some ideas that I've seen working really well. Ad templates, landing page guides, email flow setup guides, email deliverability guides, financial trackers, full ecom free course, a TikTok shop swipe file, an ad campaign structure guide, or 101 viral content ideas for brands. Here's a cheeky little piece of alpha as well, is that lead magnet ideas that are specifically catered towards the high end of the market have been absolutely dominating right now. So obviously you have something here that's like a landing page template or an email flow setup guide. But what I would even recommend is, if you are an advanced brand, like if you're an advanced agency or you're an advanced brand, you're trying to sell to people that are upper end of the market. In Daily Mentor's case, I think they sell to people over $1 million a year in revenue. If that is you and you only want to deal with really qualified brands, you can determine the types of brands you talk to or the types of clients you talk to by the level of lead magnet that you give out. So for example, if you give out ad templates, people that are interested in ad templates are basically every brand ever. So you're going to get a bit of a mix of different people who come through. Now that's great sometimes, but if you only want to talk to the upper end, then the smart thing to do is only talk about things the upper end deals with. So for example, financial trackers might be more superior as a lead magnet idea, given that you only want to talk to people that might have a massive problem with financial tracking, which is only people that are making a bunch of money, because you don't have financial tracking problems unless you are making a bunch of money. So things like ROAS calculators, things like LTV calculators, things like, operational stuff like warehouse tracking, like 3PLs, like a 3PL quote provider as a lead magnet would be insane. Just like stuff like that, where you only would have that problem if you are already making a ton of money. And even something like that takes 5 minutes to think of, but if you actually want to leverage that and build a funnel around it, it would absolutely crush. So let me just get my head out of the way here. Let's say we wanted to choose the full ecom free course. Here are 5 hooks. So number 1, if I could help your e-commerce brand scale to 7 figures, then I would do it 100% for free. Would that be worth the next 60 seconds of your time? Stop buying courses. It's unnecessary to spend $1,000 on information when we'll just give you everything you need for free anyway. Before you watch another YouTube video, buy another course or try another guru in hopes of scaling your brand to 7 figures. Give me 30 seconds and I'll give you everything you need for free. Want to double your ecom sales in 2025? Try my free course. If my team built your Shopify store and we loaded it with hot products and we gave you all our courses and we did it completely for free, do you think that would help scale your brand in 2025? So the strategy we're using here is we're just getting a bit of variation with the hooks. Really, it's not too complex or anything that's like you're giving away something for free. A lot of times the most effective thing is just to directly say what it is and say that it's free within the first kind of 5 to 10 seconds. We've got a full ad here in terms of the body. The strategy we typically like to use is making those 5 ad hooks and then making 2 body ideas and then chopping and changing the ad bodies and the ad hooks. And then as a result, we can make 10 ad variations. Really, the main thing that you need to know here is the problem that you run into with lead magnet ads is, number 1, people are skeptical that it's actually any good. Like, people are skeptical that your free PDF is going to be any good, or it's going to be kind of scammy. The other thing is that people are skeptical about why you're doing it and why you might be wanting to give away something for free. So what you want to do is sometimes you just mention that and just call it out, because personally, I'm not one to bullshit people or be indirect or anything like that. You can just mention, the reason I'm giving this away for free is because Shopify pays me. The reason I'm giving this away for free is because this is the playbook I've never had, and I'm sick of course gurus charging $2,000 for this when it should be free. And you can also mention, the reason I'm doing this is because I want to get you to 7 figures so you can eventually join my program, which is way too expensive for you as a beginner and you don't need it. That's much more, it's much more transparent. It's much more trustworthy. And like I said, if you're giving away something for free, the only reason someone wouldn't want to download it is because if they think it's shit, if they think it's going to be a waste of their time, or they don't trust you. So if you can convince them that it's actually good and you can convince them to trust you, which in many cases they should if you've actually made a good lead magnet, then that is really what your entire ad needs to be about. Like I said, being really direct about exactly what it is and the fact that it's free. And then number 2, basically going and handling all the objections and talking about some of the main pain points that they might have. So as an example, in this case, a lot of the main pain points they would have are all about how shitty dropshipping is, about gurus, about wasting all their money, about specific things they might have messed up, like if they messed up a thing with a supplier, or they messed up their Facebook ads, or they hired a shitty agency. That is where you would want to go in terms of the specific copy in those ads, and then using personal stories and client stories. It's one more thing I want to mention before moving on, is that a lot of times with someone like Davie, where you have a massive brand and there's a lot of brand equity built up, people might assume that he's like an outlier. He's got some crazy results and he's just special. So with these cases specifically, you want to leverage a bit more client story in the ads. Because even with Davie, like someone might look at the Udi, which is his company that scaled to like 800 million sales. People might look at that and say, oh, well, he got lucky with the product or something. So as soon as you introduce, okay, well, I've done it for myself and I've done it for tons of other people as well, the ads just appeal to such a wider market and you can just scale your ads so much harder. So that's something to keep in mind as well. In ad body 2, I believe it was much of similar stuff about not wanting to sell to beginners, charge thousands, yada, yada, yada. I wanted to give it away for free, but I actually partnered with Shopify to be able to pay for it for you. This is everything I wished for, so it's my chance to give back. And again, that really depends on the style of branding you want to take. But personally, I believe that these transparent ads where you're just saying the reason I'm doing this is because of X, they typically convert much better in my experience with clients. So feel free to steal those ads. In terms of the landing pages that you need for a lead magnet funnel, this is literally all you need. You might take a name, an email, and a phone number as just a caveat there, depending on whether you have a good setting team. If you don't have setters, then just take the email. But if you have a really good setting team, obviously take the phone number so you can call, you can text, you can do whatever. And it's interesting. I've actually tested this with many clients, like hundreds of clients type thing. And this opt-in page structure where you just have a social proof there, you have a headline, you have a sub-headline, and then the opt-in, pretty much converts like crazy. Like this is going to convert at 50 to 70% if the headline is right. Really just because it's social proof, it promises an outcome, and it sounds fast and highly likely. Pretty much all you need to know is that in the headline, if you promise a result and it's free, and you say it's free, and then in the sub-headline you basically just deliver more proof, it's going to convert pretty damn well. And then on the thank you page or the confirmation page, pretty much all you need to say is, hey, your free download is on the way. Check your email. Before you go, watch this video and grab a time with us. Or you might say something like, before you go, the final step is to book a free strategy call, or the final step is to watch this webinar or attend this webinar or get this extra free training, or whatever it is that the next step in your funnel is, or whatever the conversion mechanism is for you. That is where you want to go. So for example, if you want to just go direct to checkout here, that would be the time to do so. If you want to get them on a free game plan call or a free audit call, this would be the time to do so as well. And that's pretty much it. As soon as you have that, you have your email flows in place, and you have your appointment setters reaching out, you're pretty much relying on the rest of the funnel. So the thing that's going to determine your success here is pretty much what is the cost per lead I can get, and how quality are the leads that I'm going to be getting from my lead magnets. And that's going to be determined by the idea of the lead magnet, the specific ads that you use, as well as your landing page and who you're speaking to in that landing page. And then after that, as mentioned, the rest of the funnel is what does the heavy lifting. So you have obviously the cost per lead, the types of leads you're getting, that's determined on the front end. As soon as someone becomes a lead, your ability to upsell that lead is determined by your thank you page, your email flows, how good your webinar is, how good your live workshop is, how good your newsletter is. If you have a community, how good is that community? Are appointment setters active in that? Do you have customer success reps in that? Is your appointment setter actually calling the leads? Are they texting the leads? Are they following up for 6 months? Are they building a relationship? Is your content constantly retargeting them? Do they actually consume your content, or do they just think it's a bunch of BS, guru-y stuff, which will not convert the higher level brands? And as well, of course, are these leads qualified? Are they going through case studies? Is there access to all these things like downsells and cross-sells, etc.? Because if that stuff is there and you do have the right strategy on the front end in terms of your ads, your funnels, etc., you have all the full funnel built, then you are going to be good to go, and this strategy is going to absolutely crush for you. But if you don't have this full strategy built, then I would strongly recommend to check out the content on the rest of my page. Check out the links in the descriptions for my paid offers, and basically subscribe, because there's a ton of stuff like this on my channel. Speak to you soon.